What's up, guys? Today we're going to be changing the oil on a 2016 Yukon XL with the 5.3 in it. Here's the oil and oil filter that I'll be using. You'll also need a 15mm ratchet or wrench, and potentially need a oil filter wrench. So let's get started. First, I always loosen the fill cap and pull the dipstick out. I may be a little crazy, but I like to get those out to give it a little bit of air to help breathe and drain just a little bit. So now that we're under the car, you can see here's the drain plug for the engine oil, and here's the oil filter. Make sure you're not draining transmission fluid, pan, but also this one came stock without a pan that had a plug in it, so you couldn't drain it. I had to put this on aftermarket so that it would be able to drain and service it a little bit easier. But yeah, so try to do this one-handed, break this free. I don't know how well that will go. There we go. So once it's broke free, let's see if I can keep from making a mess with this and get this where it needs to be. How big of a mess do y'all think I'm gonna make? Try to fill that last thread and be able to pull it quick. Still pretty bad, but that's what the gloves are for. That oil doesn't look too awful terrible. I normally change my oil about every 3,000, but we just got back from about a 1,500-mile trip, and I didn't have time to change it before we left, so it's got a little over, I think, 4,100 miles on this oil change or something, but it's pretty dark, but not terrible. I used the same Amsoil on the last oil change. So yeah, this one doesn't have a magnetic drain plug. I thought about getting one, but never had any issues out of this. Well, kind of, there's a story for that, but I had to do the cam and lifters and everything last year. Thanks GM for a great design on that. But yeah, I'm gonna let this drain, and then we'll get the oil filter off here in a minute. All right, so now that the oil is almost done draining, I had to go ahead and grab my trusty dusty oil wrench pliers and try to break this bad boy free. What idiot myself, got in there so snug last time. It's harder than it looks one-handed holding the camera, guys. Also, sorry for the quality if there's any shakiness in the video. I've got one of those little gimbal things, but the battery was dead and didn't want to wait for it to charge because I knew I'd run out of daylight before it actually got charged. So, I know a lot of people like to puncture holes in the bottom of these before, so they can avoid that, but I don't know. I'm weird. I just let it roll and do this and try to make as little mess as possible. But leave a comment how many people actually punch a hole in the bottom of the oil filter, or just do what I do and make a little bit of a mess around the filter. But I still don't have any on the concrete floor, so the wife won't be too upset. But I'll be back. I'm gonna let this drain a little bit, and I'll be back with a fresh filter to put on. All right, so the oil's finally pretty much done dripping. Not 100%, but 99.9% of the old oil is out. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the new oil filter on. I've already, lubed up the seal there with some oil, and just slide this back on. I am using an AC Delco oil filter today. I took a Fram titanium off I'm not really brand loyal on the oil filter part as much as I am the oil. I do like to run Amsoil in pretty much everything I own. Lawnmower, Mustang over here beside me, that 6-liter Power Stroke you see out there, and then this Yukon. It's got nothing but Amsoil since I bought it, except for maybe 1 or 2 oil changes. I was in a pinch and had forgot to order some, and went down to Advance Auto and hit it with some Mobile One, which, you know, I think is probably very good quality. And but again, I bandwagon with the Amsoil, mostly because a 6-liter runs a lot smoother off of it. But you know, it's price-wise, it's pretty much the same or cheaper than getting it at the auto parts store. But how many of you all are actually brand loyal to some oil or brand loyal to oil filters? You know, leave a comment just for discussion on what your go-to is, what your philosophy, what kind of results you've had out of, you know, using the same type of oil for years over years. I unfortunately have not kept any vehicles long enough to really know a difference. I've had a lot of the same types of vehicles, but like I said, it's pretty much just a preference to me. Anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and get this snug back down. I know you're supposed to torque it to spec, but this is gonna be my torque wrench right now. I'm gonna get it snug, and then we'll get back up with some oil in it. All right, y'all, we're back up top here to get our oil in. So, like I said, we're using this Amsoil 5W30. Yes, I know. So on the oil fill cap, it says 0W20, or, you know, look at the owner's manual. So that's with the stock engine. And this engine actually last year had like 100 and I believe it was 38,000, 135,000, somewhere in there. We had a lifter on cylinder 7 actually get stuck, one of the AFM lifters. And so because of that, instead of going back stock and just replacing the lifter, I went ahead and did a full delete, AFM DOD delete, did a 6.2 non-DOD GM cam, and just some, I think they were LS7 style lifters. You know, went back stock, everything. Obviously had to have a new tune because of it. But I mean, by stock, everything, I mean stock level, we didn't do. You know, I wanted to do a stage 1 cam and headers and all that, but I knew I would get out of hand with things. So just to save my pocket and keep the wife from getting too upset, I went back, you know, basically stock. But because of that, you know, I did quite a bit of digging on it and what other people did, you know, were doing. And I started using 5W30 instead of the 0W20 that's on the fill cap, because 0W20 to me is basically, you know, that's almost colored water in my opinion. But you know, I've had no issues out of that 5W20. I've put 17 or 18,000 miles on the car since having that done last year, and have had 0 issues. I did notice, you know, the oil pressure does hold better when it is warm. You know, holds, you know, around that 34 to 38 mark. You know, when it's warm versus when I was going down the highway during the summer with the 0W20, it was running, you know, really around 30, you know, around that 30 mark, and 5W20 has definitely hold oil pressure a little bit easier, a little bit better. So I'm going to continue to do that until, you know, until I get a reason not to, or have some issues, or, you know, we'll just see how it goes. But anyways, I'll put you somewhere where you can see me putting this oil in. But, you know, this thing with the filter takes 8 quarts. So another thing I like about the Amsoil is that they come in 1 gallons instead of 5-quart jugs. So I just usually put these 2 in, get it off the ramps, you know, let it idle a minute, let it settle back down, check the oil, and I've never had issues. It's been right on the money. So so yeah, actually I'm not gonna waste y'all's time with watching me put oil in it. Obviously it goes there, you know, in the oil fill. Put 8 quarts in, make sure your dipstick's in, start it up, get it back, you know, let it run for a few seconds. let it settle back down, check your oil, make sure you're within operating range, and send it, as the kids say. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped you anyway. I'm hopefully going to start doing some more, how-tos, DIY things. I know YouTube videos have been very helpful for me, so that's why I started this channel, to see, maybe I can help some people along the way. I'm definitely going to try to service this whole vehicle. Need to do front, rear diff, and transfer case, and we'll do the transmission at some point in time. But it still has 12 or 15,000 miles before I get to that, so that'll be a little bit before I get around to that. But I do have a 07 Escalade that I will be getting some videos on. Need to repair a few things on it, so like and comment and subscribe. Comment what kind of videos you'd like to see. I've got a 16 Yukon, 07 Escalade with a 6.2. I've got a 6.0 Power Stroke that definitely will be getting some videos, and I've got a 04 2-valve Mustang GT that I'll be doing some videos on. And that's what we're working with. So like I said, like the video, comment, subscribe. Thanks y'all. Have a good day.